I have a very special guest today. His name is Isaac, and he's one of the most prolific developers here in South Florida, all the way from West Palm to Miami-Dade County. He's involved in projects in Fisher Island, all the way to Southland Mall. And there's a lot of things happening here in South Florida, and his fingers are pretty much in touch with everything that's going on here. And Isaac, thank you for your time here. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. So for the audience who doesn't know too much about you or your group, can you give us a little bit of background story of what you're doing here in South Florida as it relates to development?
Sure. So BH Group, our main focus is we like prime real estate. We like development for luxury condos, a little bit of mixed use project, multifamily. We like real estate. We don't invest in any other markets except the state of Florida. And I can tell you that from Fisher Island to W Pompano Beach to Ritz-Carlton residence in West Palm Beach to Ritz-Carlton residence in Hammock Dunes in Palm Coast, Florida. We're like all over South Florida, but if the location is not prime, we're probably not going to touch the deal.
And what do you consider prime real estate for you guys?
We like waterfront site. We like properties that well located, that between transportation, walkability. I think the deal and the site need to have a story. And if the story is good and the location is good, and we always look what's going to happen in this area in 5 years, in 10 years, what's going to happen with traffic, what's going to happen with schools. We want to make sure that we're thinking about everything. And at the end of the day, if the deal makes sense and the location is prime, we're probably going to do it.
So there's a common theme that we're seeing in a lot of these developments: live, work, and play. And that's happening across Florida, across the country. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you incorporate those elements within your developments?
I think it's a great concept. Unfortunately, not a lot of land in great location left in South Florida. We like waterfront sites, and every opportunity that there is, we're buying another site. We recently closed on a site with Mast Capital in Coconut Grove. We recently closed a couple of weeks ago on a site with the Related Group and Desert in Sunny Isles and an oceanfront site. So again, if there is prime piece of real estate that will get our attention and all the boxes are getting checked, we're probably going to do the deal.
So what if you can share to the audience, because the Coconut Grove market is growing pretty fast. Do you have any plans or ideas of what you're going to do to that Coconut Grove site you guys just acquired?
So we acquired an older building. We got the majority of the unit. We will proceed very soon with the condo termination. We're currently working on the design, and unfortunately I cannot share it more details. But at the end of the day, it's probably going to be a luxury condo branded residence.
And with what's going on with South Florida, with the condo crisis and these older buildings that these owners are really struggling to make these payments, what opportunities are you seeing in the market for redevelopment?
I don't think really that there is any crisis. This crisis is just nice words and headlines, but really there is no crisis, because obviously none of us can make this older product disappear. It's like you driving on I-95. You see older cars and you see new cars. Same thing with real estate. You see older buildings and you see newer building. Of course, whoever wants to come to Florida would love to have the opportunity of having a waterfront unit or a house that it's waterfront and it's a brand new house, but not everybody can afford. Not everybody is driving a Rolls Royce and a Bentley.
And that's very true. Not a lot of people can afford that. But so for these older buildings, do you think that there's a path forward for them? Would they all be acquisition targets, or do you think that they're just going to have to weather through this storm right now?
Not easy to put a condo termination deal together. When you're making an offer as a developer to the association, to the board, to the unit owners, it's impossible to get 100% support. So sometimes you have to start somewhere, getting the initial feedback of the board, of the unit owners. Sometimes we're getting doors shut in our face and say, we're not interested to make a deal with any developer. It happens to us many times. And sometimes we're having board that are open for discussion, open for a dialogue, but not every time that we are approaching and making an offer on an older building, we will end up with the condo.
What are your thoughts around live local? Is that something that you think it has staying power here in South Florida, or is that something that it's really it's not really clear how that's going to shape South Florida?
I think live local is a great tool for developers to get more density, get more height, getting projects that probably couldn't get approvals a few years ago, but now with the Live Local, you probably can get them approved. But at the end of the day, the fact that a developer comes in and file an application for Live Local doesn't mean that you're going to get it approved, doesn't mean that you're going to get it built, doesn't mean that the numbers can make sense. With Live Local, you have a couple of restrictions, and not easy to make every deal with the Live Local application make it work, and especially on the financial side.
It's funny that you bring that up because when I talk to a lot of these landowners, they love to throw Live Local and that they can get 1,000 units on their property and all the density. And you can really tell that there's an expectation that they can add. Obviously, you can add all those units there, right? Like you got to figure it out. Does it make sense? Is it efficient design? So my question to you is, with Live Local, right? How should people be thinking about it if they're looking to implement it within their development?
First of all, you need to take a pen and a paper and see if the numbers will work, because when you have 40% of the unit that you have restrictions on how much you can rent those units for, but you have to build them. And everybody knows that with today's construction costs, with today's interest rates, with today's land cost, not easy to make every deal work financially, especially now that you have restrictions with 40% of the unit. So I think the developer that have these great ideas of doing a project or submitting an application to a city to get it approved through Live Local, not every time that you submit an application and if you'll get it approved, the deal will make sense. This is why you'll see a lot of the projects that received approvals through Live Local will not get built. They will stay on paper.
So I'm trying to see a concept where there's luxury development being incorporating Live Local. So you'll have a section of it that's going to be luxury for sale product. And then another portion of the development is going to be workforce housing. Do you think mixing those two together makes sense, or they should be separate?
First of all, I think if there is an opportunity to put them together, it's great. But unfortunately, a buyer that pays $2,000 a foot for a luxury waterfront condo, he doesn't necessarily want next door to him a workforce housing project. So you need, as a developer working with the architect and the consultants, you need to design a project that will make sense, because at the end of the day, what is the end buyers looking for? The privacy that they like. They want to select their neighbors. They don't want a lot of density. Sometimes you'll have buyers that will buy a unit in a building, but it says, what are you building next door? Oh, I'll add another 300 units. No, it's not for me. I don't want another 300 neighbors next to me. So you need to put a lot of thought, a lot of thinking, a lot of brainstorming together. And at the end of the day, even if you get the project approved and you get the application approved, can the deal make sense? Can I get financing for this deal? Can I raise equity for this deal? Not necessarily every time that you're submitting an application and you're getting approval for 500 units or 1,000 units, it means that it's a good deal.
And I think that's where most of the people in South Florida think that they see these plans that are being submitted, that those developments are going to happen. In reality, very few of them actually make it to the finish line with everything that you just said. There's a big theme that people are talking about in regards to these projects that they may never break ground. A lot of these people came down from other parts of the country, different parts of the globe. They did a lot of speculation the past 3 or 4 years, and now they have this land with approved plans, and they may never break ground. Do you see that as an opportunity, or do you see that could potentially affect the development market here and, potentially drag down the real estate values?
There is a few answers. Number one, I think it's going to drive the values of real estate up, because then you'll have less product. You're getting all this project getting approved, but they're not getting built, and you still have a lot of people moving to Florida. These people need to rent apartments, they need to buy houses, they need to buy condominiums, and people are still coming here. We see it from all over, and if Mamdani will win in New York, probably in November, you'll have a big wave of New Yorkers coming to Florida. Those people will need a place where to live.
So if Mamdani does win the New York race, are you already seeing a demand starting to take up here in South Florida, especially for your developments?
I can tell you that a couple of days already after the primaries up in New York, our sales center were very busy with a lot of phone calls, a lot of inquiries. So people already thinking, what's my next step? People like peace of mind. They like stability. People don't like to live in the unknown. And right now, there is a lot of unknown in the air. People say, this guy win, he's not going to win. How life is going to, how it's going to affect me and my family and affect our life and the quality of life. If this guy will win, yes, change or not change. Is that going to be negative? Is that going to be positive? Everybody likes a peace of mind. It doesn't make a difference if you have $10,000 in your bank account, $1 million, 100 million. At the end of the day, we're all human beings.
And I agree with you. I think that's the biggest thing where there's so much uncertainty, people don't know, so they'll make decisions. Kind of very similar to what happened during the pandemic, where we had the rush of people coming down here. So how do you go about selecting these properties that you're developing? And then how do you select the partners that you want to work with? I think that's something that's pretty interesting because you're working with Mast on one project, you're working with Related, you're doing something down the street over there with Desert. So if you can share with the audience, how's like your thought process with all that?
Sure. Is first of all, the profile of the partner. Not every partner is the same. I have partners that are more focused on the northern parts of Florida. Then I have partners that are focused more on single family homes. So when I'm working on a deal, I already know who is my next partner for this deal. And I have a plan A, and I have plan B, and I have a plan C. And I have a great relationship with my partners. I give all of them great respect and priority. And they know that when Isaac is calling them to offer a deal, they need to give me an answer, because they know that if I get a no, someone else will say yes. And they know that I have good nose for real estate. I have a good instinct how to buy real estate. The fact that I'm very focused on this market here in South Florida gives me a lot of added value. And at the end of the day, we want to make good deals with good partners, because we believe that you cannot make a good deal with a bad partner. So I think the partner is important, sometimes even more than the deal.
How did you develop that nose and that, I guess, instinct, intuition that, hey, this project is going to work? Because that takes a lot of years experience. Obviously, you need to know the numbers, right? But how did you get to this point?
I guess it's a gift from God. I guess it's experience. It's putting a lot of things together. Is when I see a piece of property, I already know if this is for me or not. I can tell you without sharing too much information, because this deal is going to close very soon and all of you will see it. So I got a call from a gentleman that I do business with, and he says, hey, there is a piece of property here for sale in Aventura. Seller paid a lot of money for it, and they want out. They will take a big loss, but they want someone that will execute quick. I went to see the property. 2 hours after, I submitted an offer. The following day, I signed the contract, wired the deposit, and we're getting ready to close on the deal. So a lot of the big players doesn't have this flexibility, and they don't operate that way. The fact that we're still small family office with a lot of flexibility, our partner trust us, our investors trust us, and it's important. And I think that as long I'm going to stay healthy, and my family will continue to support me and work with me, and my partners will continue doing business with me, I think this thing is going to continue. It's here to stay.
And that's amazing. And I want to touch on this. So you brought up a few things, how quickly you can execute, how you bring partners together. How did you get this Southland Mall project? How did you connect all the dots and say, hey, this is a project that we're going to build here in Cutler Bay, and it's going to change the community?
So I received a call from a broker that I do business with, and he tells me that there is a gentleman that has an amazing deal in Cutler Bay on the contract. It's a huge deal. He's scheduled to close in about 6 weeks, and most likely he doesn't have the funds, and they would like to show me the deal. They sent me the deal. I knew the location. I really liked the opportunity. I started a car. I went to see the location. I was driving for about 4 hours to see what's around it, what's coming, who's there, what kind of tenant. And I really liked the deal. I really liked the story. I picked up the phone. I called a city planner at the Cutler Bay, and I said, hey, I'm looking at this deal. Can you please tell me what I can do here? The city planner was very kind, very nice, very positive. They said, we're here to help you. We're here to support you. This is what you can do. And I decided I want to proceed with the deal. I put a contract on the property. I identified the right partners, the right investors in the deal. Then we closed on the we closed on the mall, then we closed on the Macy's. Then to complete the assemblage, we purchased the former Sears. So today we own 100 acres. We started the infrastructure already. We received the entitlements from the city of Cutler Bay, which it was great working with them, great working with Dade County. That's a huge deal. It's a big deal because obviously there is thousands of units coming there, but putting together 100 acres at this location is not something that you see every day.
No, it's very difficult. And There's a question I've been asked to ask you from my community in regards to that specific project. And they wanted to know how come Presidente supermarket was selected there instead of a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's or another brand.
So obviously there is Publix right next to us, Publix near the Mercedes Benz dealership, and it was make sense to bring a supermarket that will compete with Publix. So our retail leasing agents, Urban Retail, was speaking to a couple of supermarkets chain. We received a few offers, and at the end, we decided to continue and sign a lease with Presidente because we like their idea, we like their vision, we like the fact that they're local, they have multiple locations, great people to work with, and we did a good financial deal. We did a good deal for us, and we believe that it's a good deal for them as well. Otherwise, they wouldn't sign and execute.
And how do you feel about South Dade real estate market? Because there's not much available land, and it looks like everything is concentrated down there. What are your thoughts on that specific market? Where do you see the next 10 years going there?
I think that we're going to see a lot of growth in the next 10 years in this location just because it makes sense. Again, as I said before, you have a lot of people still coming to South Florida. We think it's only going to get stronger and stronger, better and better. And people that living in Miami, they want to try if they can afford to work in the area. And if not, they will drive every day. So the bus station or a train, or if you're driving a car, do I want to drive half an hour a day? Do I want to drive 2 hours a day? So it's important. So putting together a deal that you look 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what am I bringing to the area? What we're bringing to the Southland Mall deal is we're bringing a lot of retail, hospitality, medical. We just signed a long-term lease with the college over there. A lot of the retailers signed with us long-term leases between Macy's, JCPenney, Ross just signed a new lease, and you see all the time, you see more and more announcements. Those tenants, they know how to make their demographics, and the reason that they're signing another 10-year or 20-year leases is because they understand the growth and what's coming to the area.
So when you're looking at these projects, I get this question asked all the time. If you look at the comments in my videos, it's about traffic. How much is traffic being taken into consideration when you're looking at these developments? And I guess, is there other transportation options when you're talking with the city of how you can incorporate maybe public transit? You want to touch a little bit on that?
Nobody likes to sit at traffic. When my wife and kids are complaining about traffic, I say, shut up, this is good for the business. And I can tell you that with more options coming to Florida between the Bright Line, the using Uber, people that sharing transportation together, the rapid bus station that's coming to the area, I think it's going to help. But I'm not going to sit and lie to you and tell you, oh, it's going to be great. In 5 years, we're going to avoid the traffic. The traffic will not disappear. But guess what? If you're going to California, there is traffic over there. If you're going to New York, there is traffic over there. Unfortunately, you cannot avoid it.
So there's a lot of applications being submitted for the expansion of the urban development boundary line. Do you think that could be another source of increasing inventory in South Florida? Do you think that line should be pushed a little further back? If not, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if it's going to increase the inventory. You're always going to find the balance between the inventory that's coming and the amount of people that are coming to live in South Florida, coming to work in South Florida. I don't see a situation that you're going to see in 5 years, 20,000 vacant units sitting and just waiting for either tenants or buyers. I think exactly the opposite. You'll see thousands of people that coming to Florida and looking for a place to live. It's not going to be easy.
So why are you only focused in Florida? I believe you said that you're only investing in Florida. How come not Texas or any other states?
I love Florida. I live here for many years. We arrived to Florida in 1999. I think that I have added value doing business here through my contacts, through my relationship, through the partners that I do business with, through the deal flow that I'm getting. If I'm going to New York, I don't know a lot of people over there. If I'm going to Texas, I don't know a lot of people there. I don't know how to get a project approved in Texas, and I don't have an added value. So I prefer to stay at the area that I feel comfortable, and I believe that I can create value for myself, for my partners, and for my investors.
Do you think that if property taxes are eliminated here in South Florida, because it looks like it's up for discussion for primary residents, right? If that gets approved, do you think that prices in South Florida are just going to increase even more? Just another bullish reason why South Florida is going to go up in price.
South Florida prices, regardless, will continue to go up, and we'll see it very soon. Rates will drop probably in September this year, And if not in September, probably November or December, rates will go down by a lot in 2026. I believe that this market here in South Florida will be on steroids by the end of 26, 27, 28. Nobody can stop it unless, God forbid, we have something that we cannot predict, which I don't think we're going to see it. I'm very bullish on this market, and I still think that a lot of companies will continue come here. A lot of people will continue moving to Florida. We see what's going on in Palm Beach County. We see what's going on in Dade County, in Broward. And at the end of the day, I don't think that something can stop this thing. Only God.
And I agree with you. Unless a hurricane, a major one, and even then, I don't think we're really going to see a pullback.
You know, people was talking years ago, yeah, I'm not coming to Florida because there is hurricane. Unfortunately, nobody can predict the next national or the next natural disaster that's coming. But I can tell you one thing for sure. Nobody thought that this fires or big fires and earthquakes can happen in California. And unfortunately, it happened. And you see storms happening in other places of the world. So you just cannot hide, and you cannot say, oh, I'm not going to Florida because it's raining in the summer or it's a hurricane season. I'm here for 26 years, and thank God we're all safe. My kids love it. My wife love it. Our friends love it here. And more people are coming here.
So have you always lived in Florida your whole life, or?
I moved here from Israel at 1999.
1999.
Yeah.
And did you start off doing development, or how did you?
I started my career as a mortgage broker. And then I moved from doing mortgages. I started investing in real estate. I did a lot of condo conversions in 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then started development. Met the Related Group in 2012. Started doing a lot of projects together. We completed a lot of projects together, and we currently have a lot of projects in the pipeline, along with Related, Coulter, Lennar, PEB, American Landmark. We have great relationship, great friends, and great partners.
So you've been in the game for a while, and you've survived 2008. How did that shape your business, your thought process, and how did you get out of that situation? Or what was your thoughts around that?
So whoever was invested in real estate in 2008 and 2009 was in this middle of a storm. This was a financial tsunami. We saw Lehman Brothers, what happened, Bear Stearns. This was like throughout the United States and many other parts in the world. The subprime crisis is something that everybody will continue talking about it probably in the next, 100 or 200 years. But as someone that was exposed to real estate at that time, we suffered losses as well. But at the end, I think what the drive that I'm getting every day is my family, the fact that I'm a person that believes in God, the type of person I am. I start very early in the morning every day at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I finish at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night every day. Thank God that I'm observing Shabbat. So this is the best 25 hours of the week that I have with no phone, no email, and I'm spending time with my family, with my friend. I'm resting a little bit. Other than that, I'm working nonstop 6 days a week, and I love what I do. I'm full of passion.
And how do you manage your schedule? How do you handle the day-to-day, the stress and everything that you're going through doing all these developments?
If you have a retail store, you also have stress. And if you're a soccer player, you also have stress. Every business has stress, and every business have, better days and some bad days. We need to know how to navigate the storm. We need to be optimistic. We need to be positive. We need to be good people, doing good for others, help other people if you can. I believe being honest and transparent with people will always help you. And me as a positive person and someone that believe in God, I educate my kids and tell them, hey, we have to be optimistic. We have to be positive. Don't focus on what happened yesterday. Just focus what's going to happen tomorrow.
And that's really good advice, because a lot of people will think about or go through a terrible situation, maybe last for 5 days, and then that will be the main thing that they'll think about for the rest of the year. And they said their year was terrible, but you just got to keep pushing and moving forward. And I want to talk about going back to your condo development. Who are the buyers that you're seeing right now purchasing these luxury products that you have right now? Like, what market, where are they coming from? Are they domestic? Are they international? And then I guess if they are international, what part of the...
So we saw years ago, a lot of the buyers and a lot of the traffic of buyers used to come from South America. The majority of them were South Americans. what we see at the last 5, 6 years, we see more US-based buyers. We see them from California, we see them from Chicago, we see them from New York, we see them from other parts of Florida. I can tell you that today the market is about 60-65% Americans and 30-35%, 40% foreign nationals. Brazilians, we see them in this market. Mexicans, Colombians, everybody loves Florida.
Yeah, and I think Florida, for most people, I was reading an article that it has the most second homes, right? I think here in Miami, for Florida in general. Which market are you looking at here in Florida that you think has the best opportunity for growth? That maybe it's not being recognized right now.
I think Palm Beach County is getting a lot of positive momentum. I think this momentum is going to get stronger and stronger. The profile of the buyer that wants to be in Palm Beach, it's not the same person that wants to be down in Miami. So I think Palm Beach will continue to grow along with Broward County, along with Dade County.
And do you think we're going to see more migration of these tech firms relocating here in South Florida? We're already seeing a lot of firms opening up office here. But do you think we're going to see a larger rush?
I think we're going to see it. I don't know if larger rush, but you'll see a lot of corporations continue to come here from other states. You'll see them coming from South America. You see them coming from Canada. You'll see them coming from Europe. Overall, we're all in on the South Florida market.
And have the tariffs affected your business at all or no?
Listen, I'll respond to you by saying that a couple of months ago when everybody was speaking about tariffs, the stock market didn't do good. Today, you see that the stock market every day is like breaking record, crypto. So you see that what President Trump, what he's doing, I think it's good for the country. It's good for our future, for our kids' future. Maybe there is some people that are not happy with that. But guess what? The Europeans came to the table and signed a deal with President Trump, the Japanese, and I think that many others will continue to follow.
And you touched on crypto. There's a lot of developers now that are starting to allow crypto purchases of their condos. Is that something they're currently doing or something that you would consider if somebody wanted to come in with Bitcoin and just buy one of the units?
We're evaluating this option right now, but even if a potential buyer will come to us and say, I would like to buy a unit with a Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana, we were probably going to refer him to a middleman, which this middleman is an exchange. You send them your crypto. They give you dollars, or they give us, the developer, dollars. They send the money to the title company. The money goes to escrow. Remember, when we sell new construction, we don't touch the money. The buyer signs a contract, money goes to escrow. So if you're a buyer that have crypto, you'll exchange your crypto with US dollars, send the money to the title company, and we'll sign with you the contract. But we're looking at this thing, and I don't know if we're going to do it or not. But obviously, whoever had a doubt 5 years ago, 7 years ago, said, hey, this crypto is a bluff, understand that it's real.
And has AI affected your business, or are you incorporating AI into your organization at all?
I'm starting to do it. Obviously, I'm not such a smart tech guy, but I'm starting to use ChatGPT to investigate things, to evaluate contract, issue summary for contract. I don't know how the future is going to look like. The way I see things, definitely AI is something that will be important, a part of our life for our kids' future. I hope it's going to do good things.
And I agree with you. And final thing that I want you to leave off, what's one piece of advice that you would share to the community that has impacted you, and that I guess would be the best piece of advice you leave off to the community? I guess we'll go from there.
It depends. I'm getting sometimes this question, what you can say to the younger generation, the next generation, someone that wants to start this business. And I always say hard work pays off. Try to be a good person, honest person, humble person. If there is a problem, sit in the table and talk about this problem. If there is a special situation, it can probably get resolved. If there is a problem, don't hide the problem under the mat and under the carpet, because it will explode. If not today, next week or next month. If you'll be a good person, good things will happen to you.
I appreciate it. That's actually some good advice. Isaac, how can people get in contact with you or reach out to you with anything?
I guess going to our website, bhgroupmiami.com.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. And if you guys have any questions, drop in the comments down below. We appreciate all of you.